Hello, dear children. In this video, we will be discussing the third chapter of Geography, Drainage. The topics covered in this video are drainage basin, drainage system in India, Himalayan rivers, and peninsular rivers. Now, let us begin by discussing some definitions. Number one, the term drainage describes the river system of an area, whereas the area drained by a single river system is called a drainage basin. Any elevated area, such as a mountain or an upland, separates two drainage basins. Such an upland is known as a water divide. Let us try to understand the drainage system in India. The drainage system of India are mainly controlled by the broad relief features of the subcontinent. Accordingly, the Indian rivers are divided into two major groups, the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. So children, let us try to understand the difference between Himalayan and peninsular rivers. Apart from originating from the two major physiographic regions of India, the peninsular and the Himalayan rivers are different from each other in many ways. Most of the Himalayan rivers are perennial. It means that they have water throughout the year, whereas most of the peninsular rivers are seasonal in nature. The Himalayan rivers are snow-fed from the lofty mountains, whereas the peninsular rivers are rain-fed during the rainy season. Himalayan rivers have long courses and perform intense erosion, whereas the peninsular rivers have shallower and shorter courses. The Himalayan rivers, in their middle and lower courses, form meanders, oxbow lakes, and many other depositional features in their floodplains, and also develop well-developed deltas, mainly the Sundarban Delta, which has been formed by the depositional work of River Ganga and Brahmaputra. On the other side, the peninsular rivers lead to the formation of estuaries, lagoons, and some rivers also form deltas, like the delta of River Krishna and Kaveri. Now children, from the figure given in your book, which shows some features made by the rivers, we can say that every river has three courses: the upper course, middle course, and lower course. The river meanders on its course. The river starts from a point which is known as the source of the river, and at the mouth of the river drains its water into the sea and also form various deltas. Now next we will discuss the Himalayan rivers. The major Himalayan rivers are the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. These rivers are long and are joined by many large and important tributaries. A large river along its tributaries may be called a river system. The Indus River System. The river Indus rises in Tibet near Ladakh Mansarovar. Following west, it enters India in the Ladakh region. It forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Several tributaries, the Zaskar, the Nubra, the Shyok, and the Hunza, join it in the Kashmir region. The Indus flows through Baltistan and Gilgit and emerges from a mountain at Attock. The Satluj, the Byas, the Ravi, the Chenab, and the Jhelum rivers join together to enter the Indus near Mithankot in Pakistan. Beyond this, the Indus flows southward, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea east of Karachi. The Indus plain has a very gentle slope with a total length of 2900 kilometers. The Indus is one of the longest rivers of the world. A little over a third of the Indus basin is located in India, in the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and the Punjab, and the rest is in Pakistan. According to the regulations of the Indus Water Treaty, India can use only 20% of the total water carried by Indus River system. This water is used for irrigation in Punjab, Haryana, and the southern and western parts of Rajasthan. Ganga River System. The headwaters of the Ganga, called the Bhagirathi, is fed by the Gangotri Glacier and joined by Alaknanda at Devprayag in Uttarakhand. At Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountain onto the plains. The Ganga is joined by many tributaries from the Himalayas, a few of them being major rivers such as Yamuna, the Ghaggar, the Gandhak, and the Kosi. The river Yamuna rises from the Yamunotri Glacier in the Himalayas. It flows parallel to the Ganga and as a right bank tributary meets Ganga at Allahabad. The Ghaggar, the Gandhak, and the Kosi rise in the Nepal Himalayas. They are the rivers which flood parts of northern plains every year, causing widespread damage to life and property. The main tributaries which come from the peninsula upland are Chambal, the Betwa, and the Son. Enlarged with the waters from its right and left bank tributaries, Ganga flows eastward till Faraka in West Bengal. This is the northernmost point of the Ganga Delta. The river bifurcates here. The Bhagirathi Hooghly distributary flows southward through the deltic plains to the Bay of Bengal. The length of the Ganga is over 2500 kilometers. Ambala is located on the water divide between Indus and the Ganga river system. The plain from Ambala to Sundarban stretch over nearly 1800 kilometers, but the fall in its slope is hardly 300 meters. In other words, there is a fall of just 1 meter for every 6 kilometers. Therefore, the river develops large meanders. This mighty rivers with waters from Ganga and Brahmaputra flows into the Bay of Bengal. The delta formed by these rivers is known as the Sundarban Delta. Now next is the Brahmaputra river system. The Brahmaputra rises in Tibet east of Mansarovar Lake, very close to the sources of Indus and the Satluj. It is slightly longer than the Indus and most of its course lies outside India, that is mainly in Tibet and Bangladesh. It flows eastwards parallel to the Himalayas. On reaching the Namcha Bharwa Pass, it takes a U-turn and enters India in Arunachal Pradesh through a gorge. Here it is called the Dihang and it is joined by Dibang and Lohit and many other tributaries to form Brahmaputra in Assam. In Tibet, the river carries a small volume of water and less silt as it is cold and a dry area. In India, it passes through a region of high rainfall. Here, the river carries a large volume of water and considerable amount of silt. Brahmaputra has a braided channel in its entire length in Assam and forms many riverine islands like the Majholi Islands in the state of Assam. Every year during the rainy season, the river overflows its bank, causing widespread devastation due to the floods in Assam and Bangladesh. Unlike other North Indian rivers, the Brahmaputra is marked by huge deposits of silt on its bed, causing the river bed to rise frequently. So with this, we cover the first part of the chapter, drainage. In the second part, we will be discussing the peninsular rivers, different types of lakes, role of rivers in the economy of the country, river pollution. Thank you, God bless, and please take care of yourselves.